Today, Intel is releasing its 11th Gen Rocket Lake CPUs, and PC enthusiasts will be particularly keen on the Core i9-11900K, Core i7-11700K and Core i5-11600K, and how they stack up against AMD's latest Ryzen 5000 series CPUs. I'll be looking at all three, so be sure to check out my other articles here on Forbes. Check out my review of the Core i5-11600K and Core i7-11700K here. You can see my initial article with more information on the features and pricing below, but the CPUs are made using a 14nm manufacturing process, which has essentially been backported from the 11th Gen Sunny Cove architecture used in Intel's mobile CPUs, as scaling the CPUs up to desktop performance caused issues. However, the Cypress Cove architecture used with Rocket Lake is still a brand new architecture and the first from Intel in 5 years. Irrespective of frequencies, manufacturing process or core counts, clock for clock, Rocket Lake CPUs should be faster than their predecessors. There is one additional downside to this move, though, which is that the core count has fallen from a maximum of 10 with Comet Lake and its Core i9-10900K, to just 8 with the Core i9-11900K flagship this time. This means that AMD will still retain an advantage in multi-threaded workloads with its Ryzen 9590X with 12 cores and Ryzen 95950X with 16 cores, and leaves Intel with only an aging high-end desktop lineup of 10th Gen CPUs to compete at the high end. Other features Intel is introducing today is a new range of 500 series motherboard chipsets including B560 and Z590, Thunderbolt 4 support and support for PCI Express 4.0 graphics cards and M.2 SSDs. The latter will also be supported on many Z490 chipset motherboards if you use a Rocket Lake CPU, but you'll need to check your motherboard's individual status as this isn't guaranteed. The Core i9-11900K that we'll be focusing on in this article is the flagship with a peak boost of up to 5.3 GHz. Intel also announced a new boosting technology that's specific to this CPU too, adaptive boost technology, which allows all 8 cores to hit a massive 5.1 GHz if cooling and motherboard power delivery allow. Interestingly, this is as far as I could overclock the CPU to as well, so it seems there might be slim pickings for overclockers. As this feature was not enabled by default in the BIOS, I've included separate results for this CPU at stock speed, then with apt enabled as well as overclocked. It is set to retail for $539, which is $100 more than the AMD's Ryzen 7580X, which also has 8 cores and 16 threads. I'm doing a comparison here with the Ryzen 9590X since its usual retail price is also around $539, but as well as dire availability right now, that CPU has also been retailing for a lot more, that making a direct comparison difficult. The Core i7-11700K retails for $399 and at face value doesn't seem to suffer much of a disadvantage considering it's nearly $150 less than the Core i9-11900K.